What's going on, everybody? This is the West Coast Champs, and welcome to our Week 3 edition of our Sunday morning roundtable. Today, we got a special guest with us, Adi. How you doing, Adi?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Ready to get into some football talk. Adi happens to be our resident Packers expert on our channel, so we're going to get a lot into the Packers strength of schedule, Packers draft, Packers season prediction. We plan on doing all the NFL season predictions. Today, we're only going to be doing the Packers for our roundtable special. That first thing that we talked about, or we want to talk about, is the strength of schedule that kind of came out today on the NFL Twitter. There's a lot of interesting things there, including the Patriots having the hardest schedule and the Ravens having the easiest schedule. How do you think about that?
Well, I think that's pretty convenient for the Ravens to get the easiest strength of schedule next year. So, with the way things are looking, it looks like they're going to be right back in the playoffs, right back where they were. But can they get over the hump? That's the big question.
Yeah, kind of like what we were mentioning off camera. You talked about teams kind of having that formula for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. He might have been an MVP last year, but he did not win a game.
Well, I think the blueprint's been kind of laid out twice now. It's been in the playoffs, 2018 season and then last year, of how to just slow this team down, slow down offensively, And I'm just kind of curious to see how the AFC in general is going to take that blueprint and apply it to this upcoming season, and if the Ravens are going to do anything to adjust.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they change, especially from last season. They're a very interesting team, a run-heavy team. Obviously, when you have Lamar Jackson, you got a run-heavy quarterback, but we'd love to see how they change it up a little bit. And they've got a break in regards to the schedule. So,
definitely, if this holds up, they got a big break, in my opinion.
I have to definitely agree. It definitely helps, especially when you can get a first-round bye like they can get again this year, and hopefully it translates to success for the playoffs.
I was going to say, as a Patriots guy, how do you feel about this strength of schedule for you guys?
You know what? We might have the hardest strength of schedule, and it's probably due to the division cycle where we're playing a couple hard divisions. I'm not sure which ones they are. They might be the NFC West. I know we play the NFC West, so
that's tough.
There's going to be
tough.
Yeah, that might be the hardest division of football. So there's a lot of years where we have the easiest. So like I said, probably deserve that it's our time to have the hardest schedule. And you know what? Tough going in with Jarrett Stidham or, whoever the quarterback may end up being. But I'm interested to see what this team does. Now we're going to see what Bill Belichick can really do.
How do you feel about this era of Patriots fandom? Do you think you're in for a new age of Patriots fandom?
I think so. I think that people, are around our age within, that span are going to be
Tom Brady era.
Yeah, the people that watch Tom Brady are going to be fans for life, or at least the ones who, like me, have watched them the whole time and aren't bandwagoners. Because of course the Patriot bandwagoners are now Chief bandwagoners, but
probably
there won't be, as we grow older and the Patriots dynasty is left in the past, there's going to be a lot less Patriots fans, I think, from the younger generation, just because they're not going to be the top team winning the Super Bowl every year. So,
it's been 20 years pretty much of dominance of the AFC for you guys.
It has been, and what were we gonna say?
Do you think it's over? Is it done?
I think Bill might be able to pull out one more victory, within the next.
By victory, do you mean Super Bowl?
Super Bowl victory, yeah. That's the only victory.
That's what victory has been for you guys for a long time.
What was that?
That's what victory's meant for you guys for a long time. Playoffs were like almost a guarantee, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with the division, and right back there with the division, we have a couple of young stud quarterbacks. Actually, all the other teams have young stud quarterbacks. Tua, Josh Allen, and Sam Darnold, all in our division. So,
I think this is a good segue. So what do you think about Tom Brady going over to the Bucs?
Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, yeah, it's going to be interesting for the NFC, for the top of the NFC. I'd love to see how they match up against the Packers. I think they match up week 6, something around there. Packers and Bucks do. I'm not sure which exact date that is, but I'd love to see how they match up against the
You nailed
Saints.
it.
Week 6?
Yeah.
Week 6 Packers Bucks. That's my game of the year, or one of my games of the year right now.
It's going to be interesting for sure. It's right after our bye week as well.
That's a plus for the Packers for sure.
Yeah, should be.
But yeah, I'd love to see how the Buccaneers fit in at the top or even within the middle of the NFC. You know, it's only the first year Tom Brady being there. So I'd love to just see how he fits and what he does in the NFC dynamic.
I mean, what I think is somewhat interesting is just by Tom Brady, and let's not forget Gronk coming back. I think a lot of people kind of overlooked the Bucs, you know, when Winston was there, because he was just such a wild card. He would throw, you know, a million interceptions and 5 touchdowns, but, you know, he would lose the game at the last second almost every time. So I just think it's interesting that just by having Brady there, suddenly the Bucs seem like a team that you got to actually worry about.
Yeah, it seemed like their defense was underrated.
Yeah, they actually had pretty solid defense, but it's hard to play defense when your QB throws 5 interceptions a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're starting half your defensive starts at the 50-yard line. So,
that too.
Yeah, that's pretty much one of the main reasons, I'm sure. But let's see, where are the Packers on that strength of schedule list?
Close to the middle. Let's see. They might be like dead center, actually.
Where are they?
They're in the
15. They're 1 above the Bucks. So Packers and Buccaneers pretty much have almost the same strength of schedule, along with the Seahawks too.
I'm very curious to see how the Seahawks look next year.
Yeah, Russell Wilson can't keep saving them every year, it seems like.
I mean, he almost dragged them, you know, through the playoffs. So,
and I think a lot of people forget about this, including myself, is they were this close from having a bye in the in the final game of the season.
I mean, for as good as the Niners were, there was something about the Seahawks that was like their kryptonite.
It always seems that way, and I'm going to chalk it up to divisional games because divisional games are just something else. I swear.
Division games are anyone who disregards division games doesn't actually understand the NFL.
Exactly. I think in the past 7 years in Miami, the Patriots were 2-5. So
insane.
Case A, example A for divisional games.
Yeah.
Matter.
Yeah, you can't just write off. I mean, you know, it's crazy. The Lions' record last year was pretty sad, but they were one of the scariest teams. Anytime I saw the Lions coming up on the schedule, I was like, oh, man. And, I mean, you know, last year, most people would agree that the refs gave us that first matchup with them, and then the second matchup came down to the end as well. A little less controversial, but, you know, it was still close.
Exactly. Even the weak teams in your division seem to still have some kind of fight in them, and it's always competitive no matter what.
Boost, man, when it comes to those division games.
All right, so with the NFL draft recently taking place and the Packers got some new players, the Packers draft was actually one of the more critical and more highly controversial drafts this season. As the resident Packers expert, how you feeling about this draft this year?
So should we just get the big one out of the way? Should we
get
love out of the way?
Of course we should.
Well, I guess I don't know if you've seen what Rodgers recently said in an interview about the Love pick.
Aaron?
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I kind of agree with him. I think the saddest part of this about drafting Love, especially, you know, number one, and you know, his rookie deal is going to end right when Rodgers' current contract ends. So it's a little messy. But definitely, to me, it just seems like Aaron Rodgers might not finish his career as a Packer. And it hurts a little. You know what I mean? I don't know how you feel about Tom Brady moving to a different team after so many years, especially so many successful years. But Rodgers was definitely the type of player that, as a fan, I wanted to see him, be a Packer for life. I did not want to go through this Brett Favre stuff that we had to live through, like last time. So that's probably my biggest gripe is now I think that there's a chance that Rodgers might not retire a Packer.
Let me ask you this. How did you feel about Aaron when it was Brett in the starting role?
It was a little different because I actually remember this pretty well. Brett was already talking about retirement when we got Rodgers. And, I remember every year he was kind of teasing retirement, and it almost got to this point where it was like, just make up your mind, Brett. Come on. You're like playing with our hearts here. One minute he wanted to retire. The next he wanted to play forever. And it was like, which one is it, So this is different because Aaron's been very, very clear that he wants to play into his 40s. He wants to do what Tom Brady's doing, playing, having a successful career well into your 40s. And he's been pretty straightforward about that. And now it seems like, the team management is kind of saying, hey, we know that's what you want to do, but that's not what we might want to do. So we'll see, I guess.
I see. Okay, so in terms of Brett, it was more like, we're not sure if he really wants to play. But in this situation, Aaron wants to, and it's the team that's like, we're not really sure if we want you.
I mean, they didn't come out and say it, but their actions might be saying it. So, yeah.
And I didn't realize that his contract lined up at the end of Aaron's.
Yeah, that's what makes it kind of messy. A little weird.
It's going to be weird. What is it, a 3 or 4 year contract? Should be.
Well, I mean, for the rookie deal, yeah.
Yeah. So that'll definitely be the situation to watch. I mean, as always is in Green Bay with Aaron. So unfortunately, because he's wrongly criticized, in my opinion. Wrongly.
Well, I think the media loves to hate somebody, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the guys that the media likes to hate right now, and that's fine. I mean, it's cool. It's probably it's like the Patriots, right? Everybody loves to hate the Patriots, but they keep on winning. So you hate us because you ain't us.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate, man.
Let's move on to some of the other picks. So kind of another, not necessarily as head-scratching as the first one, but A.J. Dillon, a running back out of Boston College, for the second-round pick.
Well, here's the thing. Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, it's both their contract years. There's no way that 2 running backs are going to get paid. I mean, it's just the unfortunate nature of the NFL. Running backs just don't make good money. Sorry. I don't think we're going to be keeping both. There's almost no chance we're going to have 3 running backs, especially. We still have Dexter Williams on the roster, who got I think he played 1 game last year, super limited time. I'm pretty sure A.J. Dillon's kind of a big bruiser back. So we were one of the worst teams in short yard rushing last year. So I'm pretty sure that this is to kind of fix that problem.
I see.
And, everyone knows Aaron Jones is a monster, but he's more of a finesse guy. So I think this is going to be our we need 1-2 yards, goal line kind of stand. This is going to be the dude to fix that problem.
I see.
Unfortunately, if you're a Packer fan out there, I know we love Jamal Williams. He's the goofiest guy on the roster. But we might have to say goodbye to him, which hurts a little bit, I'll be honest.
Definitely hurts. I think I didn't realize that it was both their contract years for the running backs. I think, honestly, it's actually good roster management for that, so you can keep at least 2 good running backs on the roster after next year.
Yeah, I think only one of them is going to get paid. I mean, unless Aaron Jones wants something outrageous, there's a good chance we're keeping Jones. He's just too good.
He is. He was definitely good for them during the regular season, especially.
Yeah, he's a monster, man.
I liked watching those Packers games and really kind of watching him pop over last season. So let's take a look at the others. Let's see. We got a tight end, a linebacker, a guard, a center, a tackle. So looks like the kind of in the middle back end of the draft, they went for some lineman picks. How was the Packers line? How was it last year, I should say?
Well, we have a great line. We have a really, really good pass blocking line. Run blocking was above average, but we had excellent pass blocking. So to me, this just looks like depth, just, like getting more depth on the line. We lost Balaga. It's pretty big.
That is big.
But, the dude was pretty injury prone, and I don't think he was ever going to get the money from us that he wanted. So obviously the Chargers had more money to play with. I get it. I think the writing was on the wall for a little while with Balaga. I mean, I love the dude. He's incredible. But almost every season he's gone out with injury. So I didn't think he would get paid by us. Sucks, but it's just how it is. So I think most of this draft is, it's depth. It's just so we can stay healthy. We're not going to get as lucky as we did last year with how healthy we were. That's not going to happen. Sorry.
That is true. In regards to how healthy they were, that definitely helped them go 13-3 and get that second.
One of the healthiest teams last year. That's like almost unheard of. It's nuts.
It is, and I'm glad that they went for the depth, though. The criticism seemed to be no star, offensive players for Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and have. But depth definitely is an overlooked concept that I think the average NFL fan doesn't really understand how important it is for football, at least.
It's a physical sport, man. Are you ready to hear my theory on this draft?
Yes, I want to hear what your theory on the draft is. Okay.
So I know a lot of Packers fans are mad. They wanted, for sure, an inside linebacker, which we got, but in the 5th round, is Martin going to be the savior? Probably not. We got Christian Kirksey. Is he going to be the savior? Remains to be seen. But, I don't really know. But I think as far as offensively goes, everyone wanted wide receiver, right? Wide receiver, or, they wanted just an insane tight end that's going to just change the game, right? Well, look at who Matt LaFleur is. Look at the coaching tree he comes from. I'm almost positive that we are just kind of turning into the 49ers 2.0 with, how this offseason went in our draft. We got bigger at running back. We got bigger at tight end. We got O-line depth. So I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot more 2 wide receiver sets with 2 tight ends and some running backs out there. And it's just going to be pound the rock and play action.
You think Aaron's lining up under center?
I mean, probably. I think the era of 5 wide and Aaron scrambling from shotgun, that's over. That's McCarthy era, early Rodgers stuff. That's done. It's just done. We just got to let go. This is a new coach, new team, new GM. I mean, this is a new era. It's not going to be what we're used to.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, as we've seen in lots of.
Look who made it to the Super Bowl last year. And look at how we got beat up last year in that championship game. I mean, it was running the ball that beat us up. So, I don't know.
Two of the more dominant teams, the Niners and the Ravens, do physical ground running attacks, and they might be the best at it. So, moving forward, that might not necessarily be the worst thing for Aaron, especially if he kind of retains some of his throwing ability as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw flashes last year. He's still incredible. It's just it wasn't centered around him as much.
I see.
And with Funchess, if Funchess can stay healthy, we have a solid number 2. Everyone wanted that number 2 wide receiver, and I think we got it.
All right, so with the Packers schedule coming out, I think it'd be a fun idea to just go game by game and kind of predict how they're going to do.
Sounds good.
I'll put the record up on the screen and put a dub or an L over all the games, and we'll see what their final record is at the end of the day. So that week 1 at Minnesota. Fun divisional game, right?
Oh yeah, nice easy start to the season, right? I'm a firm believer in that the preseason is kind of a joke since almost no starters ever play. So it's my opinion that the first several weeks of the regular season are the new preseason. So with that being said, I might have to say that this game's going to be an L.
You know what? I think I always try to be conservative when I do my win-loss prediction. So at the end, when you can be like, oh, if you end up 11-5, you can say, hey, we have room to improve on this 11-5 record. So I think I think the Packers definitely have a chance of winning that game. If we're saying that fans are going to be there in Minnesota, they might have the edge. But you know what? Like we said, it's a divisional game. Anything can happen.
Oh, yeah. And this is one of the hardest teams for us to play, as history dictates. The Zimmer-led Vikings, they usually have our number. I know we kind of stomped on them last year in the playoffs, but that's, normally they play us a lot harder than that.
All right. So we will chalk that up as an L, and we will move on to the Detroit Lions. They play them at home in week 2.
All right, Lions. I know last year was a little iffy. I think the Lions play us super hard, but somehow they just never close out games. So I'm going to have to go with the W for the Packers.
Yeah, I'll definitely chalk that up as a win, especially at home. So
yeah, that too.
All right, now for week 3. The Packers' early season is a gauntlet. Away at the Superdome.
Yeah, man. Superdome, everyone knows, hard place to play. I actually think we match up against the Saints pretty well. I think this is a W.
You know what?
It's going to be a slugfest, but it'll be a W.
I agree. And you know what? That physical style attack may be starting to kick into high gear here in the week 3. Maybe they start to really pound the ball, and I don't think that Saints rush defense is one of the better ones either. They can be good, but I think that you're right in saying that the Packers do actually match up pretty well against the Saints. So we will chalk that up as a win and go on to week 4, Falcons at home.
Falcons at home. This one, the Falcons, I don't know how to feel about the Falcons. I'm going to be honest with you. Last year, I feel like they were one of the weirdest teams in the division. They murdered all the teams that they were supposed to lose to, and then they lost to everybody else. So let's just say W. Real great analysis on that one, but I'm going to go W.
They seem to be Jekyll and Hyde, so
yeah, weird team.
I agree with that. So through 4 weeks, we got them at 3-1, going on that week 5 bye, which I think is definitely good because their next matchup happens to be against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers, and that is in Tampa.
Man, whoever would have thought we would get an Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady NFC matchup
in Tampa with the pirate ship.
God, now we got to get that stupid the cannons blasting every time Tom Brady scores a TD. You know what? Even though it's Brady, even though it's Gronk, I think this is a pretty winnable game. It's first year with a new head coach. It's going to be a lot of adjusting for Tom. I think this is winnable. I'm going to say W.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Saints game is actually harder than this game.
Yeah, that's a proven team, proven head coach, QB. That's a good team, man.
It'll definitely be an interesting game, Packers Bucks. I can see the Packers winning that one as well and moving up to 4-1.
That'll be one of those games that the media is going to hype up so much.
Yeah, I definitely should be a Sunday night. If it's not, I'd be surprised, but we'll see. So 4-1 going into week 7 at Houston.
Texans Texans are a good team. I think underrated, honestly, in my opinion. And it's in Houston. You know, everything considered, I think this is also a winnable game. So let's go W.
Yeah, I think so far this might actually be their easiest game. It's away in Houston, but I just don't see the Texans being anything formidable after trading away all the good players last year.
Yeah.
So, all right, what does that move? That moves us up to 5-1. Still a pretty good record, even though, kind of a tough early season. So,
solid.
Here we go, Week 8. Play back against Minnesota. That was their only loss so far in the first week. How do you think about taking on the Vikings at home in Week 8?
I think it's pretty level-headed to say that we'll split, the division with them. So I'm going to say W at home. We're going to make some adjustments, and we're going to beat the Vikings. So W, Week 8.
I like that split. I think that they most will likely split, whether it's the first game they lose at the second one in Week 8. I do like the Packers' chances even for sweeping them though. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, that makes it a 6-game winning streak going into your favorite, San Francisco, baby.
Oh man, this team is the bane of our existence, right? I still get flashbacks. So, dude, I haven't seen anything that says that the Niners are going to get any worse. So this is probably a loss. Levi Stadium, our track record pretty much shows that we do not travel well to the West Coast for whatever reason. So, yeah, I think the streak is over. Let's put an L in the column.
Chalk it up to that one as an L. Still pretty good on the season, 6-2. Probably fighting for a first-round bye right now.
Yep.
Jags at home at Week 10.
I mean, that's a win, right?
They should be one of the worst teams in the league next year.
What did the Jags do? That's let's just say win unless something crazy happens.
Exactly, and it's intra-conference. No, not too many history there.
No.
We'll stay intra-conference and go. You guys travel to Indianapolis and face Phillip Rivers.
Rivers had our number last year. Kind of clowned on us. It was one of the more surprising games of the season. Then again, it was traveling West Coast. He's back with his old OC, right? Going to the Colts.
Frank Reich, or is that Nick? He might have worked on the Chargers. I think he might have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's back with his old OC. That's one of the reasons why he went to the Colts.
That's right.
I don't know. I think, man, that's tough. I think that the Colts might have some juice, but Phillip Rivers is what, like 55 and has like, a football team that he can field with his own kids. I don't know. I'm going to say W. I think that traveling to the West Coast was kind of the X factor for that Chargers game last year, and that's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to say Packers come out of here with a win.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Colts will actually be a little bit better than everyone expects them to be, but I think that the Packers match up tremendously against them. And also, Phillip Rivers is another year old. I'd like to say that they're going to be better, but he might be blowing games for them a la Jameis. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, especially, if you think about it, this is going to be week 11. How is his arm going to be looking by then? It's hard to say.
It is. So I definitely agree with you. I think they're going to be going 8-2 so far through 11 games. At least I think that's what we have here. It should be 8-2, yeah. And 8-2 going into the first matchup against the Bears this year, Week 12, kind of a late first-round matchup.
Weird late matchup with the Bears. I'm sorry, Bears fans. You got to show me something. So this is a win. I think we're going to sweep the Bears.
I agree. Nick Foles ain't saving them.
No. I mean, Nick Foles didn't show that he's really a savior anywhere except the Eagles. So, which is pretty funny because they're up next on the schedule.
Yeah. How about the Eagles?
Eagles, man. I think the Eagles actually did a ton of good stuff in the offseason. I think they're actually going to be legitimately stronger. But Lambeau Field, I don't know. They did come into Lambeau last year and upset us. Can they do it twice? I gotta say, I don't know if I can confidently say a win on this one, so I might just go with a loss.
We'll chalk that one up as a loss, and still they have only just matched their loss total for last year, so still pretty good still a pretty good record, 9-3 through the first 13 weeks. They definitely would still be fighting for a first-round playoff berth.
Oh yeah, and I don't know how. It's so hard to repeat your record, so I just don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, let's see. Let's finish the schedule up.
We got them at 9-3 going into their second game against the Lions at Detroit.
I mean, Lions, they got the sauce, but you know what? Like I said last time, they struggled to close. At least that's what their track record says. W.
I gotta agree. I don't see the Lions splitting with the Packers. All right. Got them at 10-3 going into a home game against Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, okay, but here's the thing. It's McCaffrey, right?
Really, he's the star, yeah.
That's the guy. So if McCaffrey is healthy, and I don't think we've really made that big of an impact on our inside linebacker position. So if this team is just going to run it down our throats like the Niners did to us last year, they got a very real chance. Let's say loss, man. I don't think we're going to match our record from last year.
I think I do like the analysis on that, kind of the matchup aspect of it with Christian going in there and having that fierce rushing attack, like you said, against the Niners.
And the boy can catch. He's a beast.
I think he might be up there in MVP discussions next year if he wasn't already last year as well.
He was last year, but there was a couple others. I actually had it up, and I don't anymore. But he was one of the top 3 pass-catching running backs last year. Super highly rated in the 90s.
He should be. He's going to be good, and I probably will actually watch that Panthers-Packers game. So we will chalk that one up as a loss just due to their matchup there. So we're going to have them at 10-4 going into their penultimate game against the Titans at home.
Titans at home, I don't know. Titans got to show me something. They almost did last year. I mean, another kind of big bruising running attack, but is that really going to win every game for them again?
And they also lost 20 players from free agency.
We got cleared out. So I don't know. As it is right now, my heart says win against the Titans.
Intra-conference, they don't see Aaron Rodgers a lot. I would like to think that as they win that as well. So, especially if it's in Lambeau. So,
yeah.
All right, we got them at 11-4 going up against their final game at Chicago, which you already said is a win.
Come on, man. And this is for probably going to be like we're going to need this game. We're going to show up to win. This is a win, man. Soldier Field, it's never mattered in the past.
We have exactly 4th and 8.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
All right, so after the entire schedule prediction, after going game by game, it looks like they ended up as 12-4. Still only one loss away from last year. And you know what? I think they might be in position to grab at that second playoff bye. Was there anything else you'd like to go over before we end?
The only thing that we haven't talked about that I find interesting is all London games canceled in 2020.
Yeah, kind of a weird situation. I mean, obviously it's due to safety reasons, but I'd like to see if they could still, maybe necessarily have a game in Mexico City or even Canada. London, that's fine. Mexico City, they might still be able to do something.
Yeah, maybe. It's just pretty interesting. The NFL wants to expand globally. They want that revenue. So it's pretty crazy to see that, no London games and the possibility of no fans in the stands. I'm just curious where the NFL is going to stand after this year.
Yeah, definitely for every sports league, it's going to be an interesting year. I heard one thing about the TV networks pumping in fake crowd noise to the TV, not necessarily to the stadium, but to the TV.
Yeah, for us at home.
Yeah, and it would be an interesting solution necessarily to the quietness, but I also read about and thought about this myself. It would be a very interesting experiment to just listen to the game naturally. Maybe microphone up a good amount of the players like they already do, but really turn it up. I'd love to see what a game would be like on TV with no fans.
Little XFL in your NFL?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think it would be pretty just surreal to watch a game with no crowd noise. It's just so part of the sport is, hearing the fans in the background. I just think it would be kind of jarring for most people to watch a game where there was no fans and, no sound of the fans cheering or, heckling, whatever. It's just such a integral part of watching sports.
Especially football.
Oh, yeah.
Gladiator aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us of this edition of the West Coast Sunday Roundtable. Audie, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast.
It was a good time going through all those NFL predictions, especially the Packers schedule. We're going to have more schedules coming out this week. We're going to have this video coming out, and we're going to have a new grid game for you guys, most likely next weekend. So look out for all these new videos. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Also, please like and subscribe this video. Besides that, you guys have a good rest of your day.